what I love about sport is it gives you no guarantees. So, you know, you're in that position at the start of the season where everybody, every county will be doing the same thing. They'll all be getting excited about what's coming up. Our job is to be excited, yes, but also focus on how we're going to go about it. And that next part of the practice really is really important, that people start to really hone down those skills. So when it comes down to the proper games, we're ready to deliver to the level we think we need to win that division, because the first job really is the first division, and we want to be competitive, and we know to do that we've got to have a good start.
Well, Pete, there's been frost on the ground outside this week, but it's only a month or so until the players will be back in here and ready for the season. What sort of shape do you think the squad's in at this point?
Yeah, well, they've worked hard. This sort of we have three main blocks: the pre-Christmas block, the post-Christmas one we just finished, and then we have this half term, which is the sort of fits with the school half term, certainly with coaches, with kids. And then we go into what I would say is proper pre-season in some ways when we get the tent up. Yeah, at the moment I think everybody's ready for a break. They've worked hard. We've done a lot of work, and in many ways that work's quite individualised still. Just starting to get more and more teamified in some ways. But a lot of players look in decent shape. We've also got quite a lot of lads away, which sort of started to migrate back. Joe Clark got back today, so we'll start to see players coming back in, so it'll change again. But yeah, at the moment I think we're in good shape. One of the big goals was to get physically everybody in the right shape as well as in their skills, and it feels like people have worked hard, so I think we're ready to go. Yeah,
on players like Joe Clark, I suppose, you've got people dropping in and out all the time, I guess, with various commitments. How do you integrate them into any of the collective work you've tried to do this winter?
Well, I mean, the way we sort of work it is, I mean, at one point I think there was 4 T20 tournaments on, we had someone in each one, and we had 3 lads on the lines and 3 in with England, so we had people all over the place. Realistically, once they go, we leave them to it to go and play. I mean, the whole idea being that they can look after themselves, but we're always here for them. We'll keep communications going. It's great to watch them play, and with a view that when they come back, we can get this nice period now when we all come back, we have the tent up, and people can start to get themselves into what will be a big first block really for us, which is mainly red ball cricket, 6 games. Of which we know we want to start well. So that'll become the focus when we come back in a week's time, around the 20th. And by then, we'll have various people coming back. Some lads still away on the Lions, getting around that time. Obviously, some of the lads away with the England team. And a lot of the franchise tournaments are starting to come to a close. And we get those guys back as well.
Yeah. Now, our cameras caught some of the stuff at Lady Bay this morning where it seemed like quite an intense workout outside today. Why is that kind of level of physical work important at this point?
Well, in some ways it's always a mixture of physical work. You need a good physical base, and then you need to get used to being on your feet. So certainly championship cricket, 6.5 hours in the field, you've got to have time in your legs. And fielding was something to try and keep all the way through the winter. So we've been really lucky, got a great relationship with Notts Forest, and with, they've looked after us brilliantly in many ways. We use the dome down there. And then now we also got a place at Lady Bay which we use, so we can get outside and it starts to feel a bit more real, and we can do more catching and whatever, and mix that in with conditioning. And as I say, you'd hardly say it's good fun, but it keeps it relevant to the game, which is something that's really important.
Yeah, and plenty of use of the facilities at Loughborough this winter as well. Once again, what does that offer that maybe you don't get from the other training facilities you make use of?
Yeah, we use Loughborough really as often as middle practice because it's a great facility. They looked after us really well. We're lucky because we're close. So if they get a couple of nets free, we can nip down. But really then bowlers against batters gets more competitive. And we start to, as I say, everything starts to ramp itself up nicely a little bit. Once we get in the tent and on grass, then it starts to become much more real. And we're within about a month then of the practice games, and then obviously probably 6 weeks away from the start of the season.
Yeah, and I know it's not all been about the work on the grass or in the tent. You had a visit from, Francois Hougaard last week, for one, talking about his life and career. What difference can it make, someone like that who's performed so well at international level in his sport, rugby union, what can that do for the group of players here?
Well, I think you learn off other people. I've been lucky in the game for such a long time. I've learned off so many different. Franny came in, and the first thing you noticed straight away was, he's played a lot for his country, and especially South Africa, a really tough place to play where rugby's a religion. And he's humble, and then he tried to, like a lot of sportsmen will, he just gave his experience of how he found things. And I think you get the same thing of a lot of people who've achieved a lot in sport, that they've kept it simple, they've learned to enjoy it, and they've worked out about themselves and how they operate. And I think, you know, we had some great conversations with Franny, and you know, everybody chipped in. And we do both things, I think, in the winter. We've always encouraged getting other coaches who want to come in and have a look and share something with them, and also getting other people around, because I think that whole idea of you learn off each other is a good mantra to have around any setup.
Yeah. And I suppose in amongst the playing group, there are a few new faces, but quite a lot of players have now been here for a more extended period of time. So how does that change anything that you might do in the winter? That this is a group that's been together in many ways for 3 or 4 summers now.
Well, I suppose one of our things here is constant progression for players, really. You know, we want everybody to go away and achieve their dreams, really, in the game, because that's what we all had as coaches, and we want them to have that chance. And I think that doesn't change. If you are Luke Fletcher as a senior player, to keep pushing to get yourself better, or we've got someone like Brett Hutton who's made some good moves this winter, I think, as well. To our younger players, you know, Sammy King, Ben Martindale, James Hayes, who are early in the game, who are really trying to get established and get their skills up to a level where they compete for a first team place. So that doesn't change. So that growth is everywhere because it's fun. And we've seen quite a lot of it now recently with, you know, three players now on the Lions, I think in Liam Patterson-White, Lyndon James and Hasiba Mead. And that also, we're seeing people like, I think Stuart Broad, who's played it for a lot for England in the past, but keeps reinventing himself, keeps coming back with something different. He's getting good off his own bowling again, which is brilliant to see. And you know, Ben Duckett, obviously we've recently signed Ollie Stone, and who's fitted in brilliantly. So all the time we're getting that going, I think we're looking forward to helping people get better. And I think we see winning often comes because our players have got better, physically stronger maybe, more skillful at bowling, anything from the death or with a red ball top of off stump, or batters to play the game that's needed at any given time. Yeah,
and does that general continuity, I guess, of squad help with the feeling within the group, the sort of togetherness that you've managed to create?
Yeah, we've got a great, I mean, I judge most things about, do personally, is it exciting to come to work? Do you want to get in with a group? And I do, and I think everybody does. And you know it's working well when a lot of people want to come and people don't really want to leave. And we've got that thing going at the moment, I think, and it feels good. What I love about sport is it gives you no guarantees. So, you know, you're in that position at the start of a season where everybody, every county will be doing the same thing. They'll all be getting excited about what's coming up. Our job is to be excited, yes, but also focus on how we're going to go about it. And that next part of the practice really is really important, that people start to really hone down those skills. So when it comes down to the proper games, we're ready to deliver to the level we think we need to win that division, because the first job really is the first division, and we want to be competitive, and we know to do that we've got to have a good start.
And up next, a 4th winter session in the marquee at Lady Bay. So what kind of things are you hoping to gain from those weeks before we finally get to the start of the season proper?
It builds its way through. The first thing is grass for a batter, sometimes a bit more challenging, and also for a bowler, lengths are key. So you get the feel of exactly what you're going to do. The beauty of the tent is actually we've got it for about 6 weeks. So rather than a pre-season trip, which also has got loads of great things about it, we can actually be a bit more gradual with our bowlers, so it reduces hopefully the injury risk to them. But as we go through that tent, we get closer and closer. Things get more and more competitive. You know, more scenario type stuff, till eventually then we get into our practice game. So we just build our way up really. We'll do longer sessions because we're getting used to the format of the game we're going to start with, which is red ball cricket.